everybody, I'm Tiffany and today I'm going to be doing my next movie review and it is on the movie Tomorrowland. Woo! Futuristic stuff and all that. I'm doing this movie review per request by one of you YouTube users, so thank you for that. I was excited to see this movie because I hadn't seen it before and it was on my list to see because it looked very interesting, the concept did. So I'm really glad that I now had an excuse to watch it, so thank you. Overall, it was definitely an interesting movie. I'm going to give you a few statistics and stuff like that first, and give you a little synopsis for the people who haven't seen the movie, and then I'll go into the whole spoilery review section and get into more detail about it. So just to let you know. Alright, so anyway, Tomorrowland, this is an action-adventure family, and it got a 6.5 out of 10 on IMDb. Now, for those of you who don't use IMDb, 6.5 is decent. That's like where most comedies land and stuff like that. So, a 6.5 is decent in IMDb terms. I was definitely a little bit more relieved by that, I guess, because when this came out, a lot of people didn't necessarily, love it or whatever. There weren't horrible reviews on it that I saw, but there weren't like, this is the best movie ever, fantastic reviews at the same time. So seeing the 6.5 made me feel a little better about watching this. Anyways, I went into this movie, this is kind of a rare one, because with a lot of movies I do, even before I see them, kind of know really what the whole thing is about. I don't have like spoilers on twists or anything like that, but I have a pretty good idea of what it is about and what the whole plot is. And Tomorrowland was kind of a rare exception because I knew like the basic premise, but I went in pretty much completely blind, which is the best way to see a movie in my opinion, because then you're not spoiled at all and you're surprised, so woo! So for those of you who haven't seen the movie, I'll give you my brief synopsis that I went into knowing, and that is from the previews that I saw. And that was this girl who is a very optimistic, scientific type girl. She ends up finding this pin, and when she touches this pin, it transports her to this really futuristic world, hence Tomorrowland, I guess. You can guess that by the title, hopefully. So she ends up going on a quest to try to find out where this place is and trying to get back there, because the pin, doesn't last forever. So it's all about going through that adventure and finding out where in the world this place is and why hasn't it been discovered before and all of that. For those of you who are interested in the actors, it stars, first of all, George Clooney. I hope you know who George Clooney is. He's done a bunch of stuff. He was in Hail Caesar recently and The Descendants, I believe. Not the Disney version, which was with the villains. No, with Shailene Woodley. And then the main girl is Britt Robertson. Now she's done a couple things recently. She was in The Longest Ride really recently, and she was also in Under the Dome, and I just know that because I watched the first few episodes. I don't know if she made it all the way through that show or not. I just watched the first couple and I realized she was in it. But also, for those of you who have no idea what I'm talking about, Britt Robertson is Dylan O'Brien's girlfriend. So yeah, for those of you who don't know that, that's a fun fact. And it also stars, by the way, I apologize if I pronounce names wrong, because I'm gonna. Is it Hugh Laurie or Hugh Laurie? I don't know how to pronounce his last name, but he's the guy from House, basically. He is also in this movie, and you have a lot of child stars and everything like that. So it has a decent cast. So it definitely seems set up to be a really successful movie, and I was surprised that it wasn't really. But watching it, 6.5 seems about right. It was a fun movie. It is definitely family friendly. It's a good movie for the whole family to see, and it has a good message in it at the end. I don't know. There are certain things I didn't really like about it, but it had its moments, and that's what I think makes it worth the watch at least once. So if you haven't seen it, I suggest you check it out. I think it's worth one watch at least, and I hope you enjoy it because it does have nice little moments in it. Yes, there are a few things here and there that I didn't really like, but it was overall a really good movie. The main thing was, I guess, the pacing, because it actually started out really well, and then the ending was kind of confusedness. It's not confusing to understand. It was just, it was a weird ending to me. But I do think you should check it out. It is a nice movie to watch. Good for a family, you know, little get together. You know, have a little brother or sister or something. Show them this movie. I'm pretty sure they'd love it. But yeah, so that's kind of my non-spoilery part. I can only, you know, say so much about it without spoiling it. So thank you, all of you who joined me who didn't want to be spoiled, but now I suggest you leave unless you really want to be spoiled. So you can stay if you want, but I don't want to hear complaining that I spoiled you when I warned you like 5,000 times that I was gonna. It's bye non-spoilery people. I'm gonna spoil stuff now. So bye! Alright, so Tomorrowland. So like I said, the beginning I actually really liked. I think it was a good setup because you're introduced to George Clooney's character, Frank Walker. He is telling you this whole entire story about how in the world this happened. And it was just a nice little setup at the beginning because you have Britt Robertson, Casey Newton, commenting about how he's telling the story, and it was just this nice little back and forth, and it had a little comedic element. So I really liked the beginning of this, and it had a really good setup. When it got into Britt Robertson's like little background or whatever, the little girl was so adorable. You stole that entire movie. She was just so cute because she was staring up at the stars and she was just like, what if there's everything up there? And it was adorable. It's adorable. It's so cute. And you also saw a glimpse of Casey's mom. Now this was a little bit of a trouble thing because right after that there's only her dad there. And so I guess you kind of assume something happened to her mom, or they separated. I don't know, but nothing gets explained. The mom is just not there, and I thought that was going to come into play a whole lot more. No, you saw the mom once. She's gone. Nothing was explained about that, so that kind of bugged me a little bit. But then you get introduced to Casey's family, and Tim McGraw was the father, guys. I was like, isn't that the country singer dude? He's acting now? Okay. And he wasn't that bad. That's the first time I've seen him act, really. Good for him. But then we got to the brother. And like I said, I'm a movie fanatic, so I can recognize people from stuff. And I saw that little kid. And I was like, he's the evil kid from Looper. Did you guys see that movie? If you do, you know exactly what I'm talking about. He's the little mental kid with the mental powers. He was scary in that movie and mentally insane. So I was like, you've played evil people before. Oh. So that was kind of all I could think about when he appeared on screen. But no, he did a really good job and he ended up being really cute in this movie. But I was just thinking, Looper kid. Moving on from that, I think the pacing was just kind of weird throughout this entire movie because the first part, it felt kind of a little bit rushed but not rushed at the same time. Does that make sense? It probably doesn't at all, but oh well. It took them a while to actually get to the place, and when they were there, they weren't there long enough for me. I wanted her to go find George Clooney really quickly, and then they spend most of the movie in that land because it looked awesome. But they basically spend more than half of the movie trying to get back to the place, and when they do, it's completely desolate, except for, you know, Hugh Laurie, who's the evil dude. And I was like, well, that was anticlimactic. The whole point of seeing Tomorrowland is because you're really excited because the previews made it look so cool, and that was going to take place in this whole entire land. More than half of the movie didn't take place in that. It kind of ruined the majestic magicalness of Tomorrowland because you only see brief glimpses of it as it was in its fullest potential, and then it goes away. You don't have time to actually explore it when it was at its peak, which is really sad to me because I wanted to see that. I thought the little girl was really good. I liked her. There were moments here and there where there were a little bit of cheesiness, but overall she did a really good job, and I thought the actors all did a really great job. I think the main thing was just certain story developments I didn't really like. I felt like there were questions that were kind of unanswered. Like I said with Casey's mom, that was left unanswered completely, not even mentioned. And I just didn't like how they built up the ultimate thing that they built, because they're alluding throughout this thing that something was built that was not meant to be built, that was bad, and it was going to destroy everything. But what they built was a time thing that let you know the world was going to be destroyed. And the whole reason that it's bad is because they're accidentally kind of projecting it on the world. Hugh Laurie's purposely doing that. And he ends up projecting it, trying to get them to realize that the world is going to end so Earth can save itself, but instead people are just kind of accepting it and giving up hope. So they're broadcasting that to the world, and that's what's causing them to destroy the world, because they're accepting it and it's going into the brain that this is going to happen. So I was kind of like, what? I didn't like that part. Like, the climactic moment where they're battling, it felt way too rushed. You didn't get enough backstory, I feel like, with Athena and Frank Walker. You didn't get enough backstory with that. You don't really get a full, I mean, he built that thing, but I wanted more detail about why he got kicked out and see the relationship between Hugh Laurie and Frank Walker. I know I'm not saying his real name, sorry, or his character name. I just know him as Hugh Laurie. I wanted more development between those two characters so that when the moment came that they had to face him, it was bigger and better and like boom, 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 awesomeness. And you actually kind of, love it when they destroy Hugh Laurie. And it didn't feel like that. I was like, okay. Athena dying was sad. It didn't make me cry, which is surprising because I usually cry when other characters are crying. But I think, again, that has to do with the ending. I feel like you didn't get enough development with each of the characters personally to actually fully connect. That scene was super sad, but I feel like it would have made more of an impact if we had more background about what happened between Frank and Athena. I don't know. I didn't like the flow of the script. So yeah, the ending was just kind of like anticlimactic. I was expecting like this full-on battle in the place, and there kind of was, but it was only between a few people, and it didn't really resonate with me. It might resonate with other people. It wasn't a horrible movie. There were just certain elements of it I didn't like. I did actually like the very, very end with all the people, because that brought a good message, because it was like, don't give up hope, believe in your dreams, keep fighting for it. That was really cool at the end, that you had all these different people receiving pins. You had a musician, you had a ballet dancer, you had a construction worker, you had a hiker, you had people studying animals. You had like every type of dream possible, and all these people were believers in what they did. And I thought that was really, really cool. Good job to Disney for that, because that was a really good message. I do still think it is a decent watch. I think it's one of those movies that you kind of have to just open up your mind and not criticize it too much, because if you do, then you will find a lot of flaws in it. Oh, I forgot to mention, Britt Robertson's character, Casey, that girl was resilient. You're bumping into stuff and falling downstairs and getting almost shot by this thingamabob, and the worst you got was like a nosebleed. That was like really it. You should have a little more damage than that. Man, how tough is this girl for her to fall down a flight of stairs and not even have a scratch on her? Like, not even a bruise. Guys, falling downstairs hurts a lot, but it made it funny. Those were funny comedic moments, actually, that I really liked. Not that I wanted Britt Robertson to get hurt or anything like that, but she's walking through a field and there's just this random bam all of a sudden because she ran into a wall or fell downstairs. So that was kind of funny. I think you should definitely give this movie a chance. It has a lot of potential, and I think that's what is bugging me, is because it's such a unique concept. And it's so different than what a lot of Disney does. They developed this whole entire story, and it was just such a cool concept, and it fell a little flat. But I commend the actors, as always, because they worked super duper hard and did an amazing job. And it had its moments. It had its moments where it was cute and awesome and lovely. The ending kind of disappointed me, except for the very end with all the people, but it's still a good movie. It wasn't completely resolved yet. They kind of saved the world, but they stopped it from destroying itself, I guess, in the allotted time. But I don't know. There were just certain plot holes. It felt like the pacing was weird. but it was still an enjoyable movie. It had comedic elements to it, and I enjoyed myself. Go and give it a chance. For all you know, that's my philosophy with basically any movie, is that you can watch a review all day, but if you don't actually watch it, you don't know if you're actually gonna like it. Because I've had movies that are rated terrible and I love them. I'm not gonna mention which ones. I say give this movie a chance, because I can see how people really like this movie. I just found little stuff here and there that didn't hit me right, didn't resonate with me right. But a great concept, and love the actors in it. That's about it. That's all I really have to say on this movie. Thank you to Jensen for suggesting Tomorrowland, because I'm happy I watched it. Go check it out. Go check it out. See it rented on Redbox. That's all I really have to say on it. Thank you for joining me today. I hope you enjoyed this. If you have any more movie suggestions or book suggestions, please leave them in the comments below. And by the way, I realized I haven't done this in a video yet, so I'm gonna do it. I also have an Instagram and a Facebook, but Instagram is like my main thing that I use. I don't really use like a lot of the other stuff. I have a Snapchat too, so I'll put my Snapchat there as well, but I don't really use it. But Instagram I do use a lot. Living the Stage Life, XOTIF, and it's gonna be like hopefully on the bottom of the screen while I'm saying this, and it'll be there for a little while. And then my Snapchat is just TiffRox, ROXX. And yeah, you can follow me if you want. Check it out. But Instagram is the main one I use, just to let you know. But anyways, thank you so much for watching this. I hope you enjoyed this. Again, leave any books or movie suggestions below, and have a wonderful, spectacular, awesome, amazing, beautiful day. All right. Have a good day. All right. Bye.